All right, we have a little bit of a stretching flow. I'm going to have you with your legs crossed if it's comfortable, or seated, however is good for you. And we have you bring up your chest a little bit, open up your shoulders, let the shoulders come back, the elbows soften, the knees soften, the hips soften, and let the belly expand and contract. And then I want you to focus a little bit further down. Think about your pelvic floor. It's almost like a hammock that supports the organs. So I want you to think about contracting it, kind of pulling it up, pulling up through here. And on your exhale, just let it go. A couple more like that. We're going to take the hands together at the chest. Take a deep breath in, reach the arms up high, palms face each other. Exhale, come forward, either hands to the thighs or hands to the floor. Take 2 deep breaths there. And then softly walk the hands back. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, turn to your right. 2 more breaths. Last one. Release, and we'll switch to the other side. Deep inhale. Exhale, get a little bit taller, push a little bit further. Couple more. Now I want you to switch. If you are seated this way, switch the cross. Bring the hands up towards the heart center. Interlace the fingers, press forward and round the back. On your inhale, part the fingers, pull back. On your exhale, bring the other pinky on top. Couple more. Switch the pinkies. Last one. Bring it to the top. This time turn to your left. If you can, look up. And then release. Switch and look up towards the sky. And then release. And we're going to come forward. So maybe you walk the fingers forward and just sinking into those hips, letting go. Maybe the eyes close. Maybe you let the head down. Breathe into that back space. We have one more. Walk the hands back. And then I want you to part the feet. And we're just doing the hips side to side. Find what works well for you. Maybe the knees go all the way down. Maybe they don't. Maybe they go down on one side, not on the other. All right. I want you to come over, pull the toes. And you should feel maybe even a stretch here. On the bottom of the foot, maybe. Bring it down and get a stretch through the shoulders. Let the head, neck, and just rest. Maybe on the thighs. Get nice and tall. Bring one leg forward, one leg bent. And I just want you to reach for the toes. Maybe you grab them, maybe you don't. If it's like real easy to grab them, you can take your hands and grab your hands around your foot, or you can maybe even grab your wrist around your foot. That'll give you a little more. If you're like, that's not even me, you can be right here. And if you get enough stretch, go for that. And then release. We're going to bring this leg up, get a nice stretch in the hip, get a little taller, pull the shoulder blades back and down. One more deep breath. I'm going to lean towards the side so I can bring the leg behind, and I'm pulling on the ankle towards my body. And as I'm doing that, I'm actually resisting the pull, so I get a stretch here. One more deep breath. Release it. Take that hand overhead and go to the side. You might be able to bring this elbow down. You find what works well for you. And circle the wrist. And then we'll release. We're going to press the hips up if you can. Relax the head. And then slowly release it down. And we'll switch sides. So this time I have the leg bent, one leg straight. I puff up the chest and then I come forward. Maybe my hand goes here. Maybe it goes all the way to the toes. Maybe I cup my hands over my toes. Maybe I can grab my wrist over my foot. Not today for me, but you might be able to. You find what works well. One more deep, deep breath. Coming all the way up, grabbing that ankle if you can. Maybe wrap the arm around, get a little taller here, get a stretch the hip. One more deep breath. Release. Now we're going to work on the hip flexor. So I'm bringing it behind, if I can, if this works well for me, and puffing out the chest, pushing the hip slightly forward, pushing that ankle towards my hand, pulling at the same time, getting a stretch in that quad. Then release. Bend this front knee. And we'll go over to the side, maybe all the way down to the elbow. Sorry, I'm like real close up to you today. I'm in the closet. And release. And then push up the hips, last one. Maybe you look all the way to the sky. Maybe you bring the arm up like a superstar. One more deep breath. Release down. I would love for you to get down on the ground. Bring in the elbows. I have my knees bent, okay. And then let your head drop back. Maybe the elbows touch, maybe they don't. Mine do not. And then bring back the head and just open up the chest. And I want you to stay here and breathe. So my heels are on the ground. I'm supported. One more deep, deep breath. And then slowly make your way down to the ground. Just take a few breaths here. Stay here a while if you like. I want you to take notice of yourself. How are you feeling? How's your body feeling? How you emotionally are? How's your mental status? And just take inventory. Just allow your body to rest in this position. But notice the body. Sometimes things are screaming out and we don't notice them until they're really screaming out. I noticed this with my knee. So a few weeks ago or whatever, I had the knee just was not moving quite right. I could feel it kind of grinding and anything. I'm like, whatever, I'll just leave it alone. And then it started screaming at me, hurting, help! And then I did something about it. So if you can feel those little things and take care of them before they get worse, you're better off. And that is mentally as well. So if you're starting to take that mental spiral, a bad one maybe, sometimes as we have thoughts, the thoughts build on each other. And sometimes a situation can become a lot worse because our thoughts are spiraling down. But that can be the same if our thoughts are maybe at a higher vibe and they're positive. they can spiral upwards. And maybe a situation doesn't seem as bad because we are being hopeful and having positive thoughts. That doesn't mean that you won't have negative thoughts. That doesn't mean to get mad at yourself for having negative thoughts. But it means that sometimes you just need to take inventory. Where am I thinking really positive thoughts? Am I thinking really negative thoughts? Does something not feel quite right or in place? Or do I feel really good? What's making me feel really good? What have I done this week that's made me feel really, really good? We're living beings, so it's never the same day twice. And if it is, maybe there might be a problem there. Anyways, so just take this time to think about how you're doing and maybe some adjustments that you need to make this week. I hope that you have a great night, and I hope to see you tomorrow.